Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy and I'm back giving you guys a review for Boruto chapter 32, and obviously for the anime only viewers, this video is gonna have spoilers. However, I want to talk to you guys for a second before I go into the chapter review. If you're an anime only viewer, you are doing yourself a huge disservice by not checking out the Boruto manga. I know people have preferences, and this isn't me trying to push my preference for manga over anime. However, the Boruto manga has legitimately been on fire for the last, I would say the last 12 chapters, and you can make an argument because of all the little itty bitty foreshadowing elements that we've been getting for the past 16 chapters are finally starting to get to a point where they're bearing fruit. You could say that the Boruto manga has been on fire for the last 16 chapters, so you're doing a huge disservice to yourself by not checking out what's going on. So with that being said, if you guys are interested in reading the Boruto manga, the Shonen Jump app does have the Boruto manga up. Either it should be up very soon when the chapter is officially released, or Viz Media should have it up this weekend. So I highly recommend supporting the official release. However, with that being said, this isn't a sponsor or anything like that. I just want to kind of give more information on where to read the manga because I get that question a whole lot. So let's talk about this Boruto chapter 32 greatness. Man, yo. This chapter, hands down, I'm not gonna say it's the best chapter in the series. I'm not gonna say that. I know some people are going that far, but I am gonna say it is so refreshing to see Naruto in a battle where Naruto's cutting loose. It is so refreshing to see that. Like, one of my hands down favorite moments is when you see Naruto where he's getting pushed back by Delta, and she's using that ability that she has with her body, since it's a scientific ninja tool, to where she's sprouting out these different stilts and Naruto's having to run away. Naruto immediately is looking at it like, okay, you know what? I ain't got time for this right here. And he immediately uses the lava Rasen Shuriken. And dude, that's one of my favorite jutsu that Naruto has. I have a video on the channel breaking down every single Rasengan that Naruto did, and I go into quite a bit of detail about that jutsu, and I'll leave that in the info cards for you guys to check out if you're interested. But when Naruto whipped that out, I was screaming with joy, dude. I was screaming with joy. And like, part of the reason for it is in the last chapter, I have people saying, oh, Naruto doesn't have Sage of Six Paths mode anymore because he doesn't have the true seeking orbs. He doesn't use any of the jutsu from all the other Biju. He doesn't have the chakra anymore. That just put all that to the wayside right there, because that's jutsu that only Sage of Six Paths mode Naruto uses. I mean, that's one of those things right there. Like, Naruto still has all the Biju chakra, and the fact that Naruto's whipping out some of that stuff is showing you just how overpowered the ninja tools have the potential to be. However, with that being said, I know that in the last few chapters, people have been getting just legitimately pissed off at the fact that Delta is even gonna attempt to fight Naruto. Now she's fighting Naruto, and for a while, it appears as if she's giving Naruto more than he can handle. Yes, Naruto's suppressed. Don't get that mistaken. Naruto's suppressed, and even Kawaki has to point that out to Boruto, which was something that was a bit of a head scratcher to me, because the thing about Boruto is he actually saw Naruto go all out. Like, he saw Naruto with 50% of his chakra go toe-to-toe with the fusion of Momoshiki, fighting alongside of Sasuke, and he saw them completely cut loose. So he knows what his father can do when his father's fighting seriously and doesn't have to worry about protecting anybody. And that's something I've been saying for like the last month or so. I kept telling you guys, when it comes to Naruto, when he fights Delta, be on the lookout for how she uses those scientific ninja tools. That's gonna level the playing field with Naruto. However, I do think that Naruto was gonna be someone who would be in control of the fight, and that's what we see here. Kawaki confirms that. However, what Kawaki also does, he does foreshadowing in the chapter, right? He does foreshadowing in the chapter. So what Kawaki tells Boruto, he says, like, you're such a naive idiot. You're such a naive idiot. We can't get involved in this battle right now. We can't get involved in it because if we do, we're gonna put the Hokage at a disadvantage. With us staying at a distance, he can fight seriously. And I disagree with him on this aspect of it right here. Naruto's not fighting 100% restrained. Like I said in the last chapter review, if Naruto went completely all out, Naruto would be in danger of putting the Hidden Leaf Village in danger. Like, Naruto can't do that. Like, Naruto, if he got serious, Naruto is splitting mountains with utter ease. However, the fact that he's using some of the jutsu that he has after getting the Sage of Six Paths mode power, which being the Lava Star Rasen Shuriken, that shows you that for a little while, Naruto not so much is getting pressed, but is looking at it like, I need to see just how durable she is and exactly what she can take. Because you can bet your bottom dollar that after all this is settled, Naruto's going to get in touch with Sasuke, and he has to let Sasuke know, like, these car people that you're looking into, they're absolutely no joke. They're absolutely no joke. I was fighting semi-serious with them. They're able to push me, and I had to worry about the safety of Boruto and Himawari on top of that, but I had to use some of these higher level jutsu. Be on guard. And I really feel as if this is giving us the opportunity to see, like, maybe Delta's not the strongest person, but the fact that she's positioned right next to Jigen, when both of the times we saw her before this, it felt as if she was positioned next to Jigen. We see her eating with Jigen, and when we see all the car members together, if I'm not mistaken, we saw her either directly across from Jigen or next to her, and so it's just showing that, like, Delta is pretty damn powerful. And what's really cool about this, what's really cool is, like, even Naruto's going, like, she's able to regenerate attacks, which is absolutely insane, that we have ninja tech that can do stuff that Tsunade had to train for years to learn how to do. Sakura had to train for years to know how to do. Hashirama made famous being able to regenerate mid-battle without having to use hand seals. And now this scientific ninja tool can do that. Like, that's insane. That is insane. And it just opens the door for us to have some really amazing fights going forward. Now, the other thing that I thought was really interesting is after Naruto says that, he says, well, how am I gonna be able to create an opening if she's always able to regenerate? And Naruto basically lays out his battle plan, and this should come at no surprise to anybody, right? This should come at no surprise. Spoiler, Naruto wants to use a Rasengan in the battle. Who didn't see that coming? But what's really cool is the fact that when you start looking at the fact that Delta can not only regenerate herself, but she also has the ability to shoot these eye beams out. And the eye beams are so destructive. Now, wait for this, because I about fell out my chair when I read this, right? These eye beams are so destructive in power that even someone like Naruto, who has a Biju inside of him that can replenish his body and regenerate, even Naruto would lose the ability to regenerate his limbs. That's insane. That's insane. And the first thing that went in my head when I saw that was, oh my God, we have somebody who, if Hashirama was alive, if Tsunade got dragged into a battle, if Sakura got dragged into a battle, their number one ability that aids them in a battle, that regeneration ability, is basically null and void. You can't use it. You can't rely on it. And so this is really important, because one thing I've been saying for a really long time, like, the Boruto manga needs real stakes. It needs real stakes to put Naruto and the older generation in a position where they're clashing with the ninja tools, which is what we're getting, but they're also put into a position where they can't completely out-brawn their opponent. And so little stuff like this, on one hand you could say, oh my God, they are nerfing Naruto. I can't believe it. They're nerfing Naruto again. However, the fact that you have stuff like this, it levels the playing field in a way that it creates the tension. You legitimately don't know what's gonna happen. And what's so beautiful about this is one of the things I've been saying for a long time, right? I've been saying it's probably about 6 weeks. I keep saying, hey, they're putting a lot of emphasis on Himawari. They're doing a lot, putting her in more of the forefront than they've ever done up to this point in the Boruto manga. Something's gonna happen with Himawari. She's either gonna be kidnapped, or Himawari's gonna be put in a position where she's used against Naruto. Himawari is going to be in danger, and sure enough, in this chapter we find out why exactly Naruto's been holding back, okay? Because we see it up close and personal. The moment Boruto doesn't take Kawaki's advice, after Kawaki warns him not once but twice, stand down, don't get involved, Boruto sees his father in a position where it looks as if Naruto is in a bit of a bind, right? And Boruto unconsciously awakens his karma seal, and he uses the vanishing Rasengan. And after that happens, Delta, at first she's thinking, oh, his attack missed. And you're thinking, okay, this is gonna be the Momoshiki thing all over again. However, that drone that I warned you guys about in the Naruto versus Delta video that I did over a month ago, I warned you guys, I said that that drone is either going to be able to snipe or it's going to come into some type of play in the battle. That drone is communicating with Delta's scientific ninja tool eye, and she was able to locate Boruto's vanishing Rasengan, which is another thing that puts Boruto's go-to attack, it puts it in a position where it's no longer effective, because the one thing that jutsu has going for it is that when the anime changed it to where it's using lightning style chakra instead of wind style chakra like it did originally, and so it vanishes, it completely takes you by surprise. Well, that's no longer the case. Delta not only absorbs it, but she says, oh, I got a really good idea. Thank you for this. And she goes through and she punches Boruto, and when she punched Boruto, I absolutely guarantee you, like, there's somebody who's reading the chapter who's like, yes, we got him, Boruto down. Somebody was celebrating. However, in the next breath, she picks up Himawari and she lifts her by the sweatshirt, right? And Naruto's like, Himawari, and Naruto, you can tell, like Naruto just channeled his inner Vegeta at that point. Like Naruto, he dropped everything and he's running, because again, that's baby girl right there. Naruto's not gonna let anything happen to her because Himawari is not a ninja. She's 10 years old, or in this scene, she's 11. She's no longer in the point where she could join the academy, unless they do something later on, and I'll talk about that when I break down the Boruto timeline in another video. But the crazy thing is Himawari is not a fighter. And you see it right here. She's absolutely terrified. She's absolutely terrified. And in that moment, because we don't know if Himawari even survives Kawaki's attack. So you don't know if in the flash forward in Boruto chapter 1 or Boruto episode 1, if you're more familiar with the anime, you don't know if Himawari's alive. And a lot of people have speculated, is Himawari dead? When Delta threw Himawari into the air, when she threw her into the air, the expression on her face, the sheer terror that is on her face, that is one of my favorite panels by Ikimoto. Like, it's not on the level with Kishimoto when it comes to expressive art. That's a weakness that Ikimoto has as an artist, but the fact that Kodachi even had the balls to write this scene and that Kishimoto signed off on it, and then Ikimoto drew this scene. When the anime gets a hold of this and you hear Himawari screaming, when you hear her screaming out, Papa, dude, I got chills. I legitimately got chills reading that scene. And when she's in the air suspended and Delta's shooting that beam, you're going, oh my God, Naruto's gonna be hit with a huge attack that is gonna take him out the fight. And when this happens and Naruto is screaming Himawari, and in the translation that I got, you know, because this is an unofficial translation right now, in the translation I got, you know, Naruto used an explicit word that I can't use because of all the stuff going on with YouTube right now, but dude, I get where he's coming from. I totally get where he's coming from. Like, I don't have kids, but I can imagine the sheer terror of the fact that your daughter is in danger and that you weren't able to protect her. And I'll take it a step further. Right? I'm gonna tell you what that scene reminded me of. And if Ikimoto was doing this as a way to pay homage, he nailed it. It reminded me of when in the Naruto manga, when Hinata shows up and she tries to save Naruto from pain, and on the span of like one page, Hinata throws a couple of punches, Pain dodges, and then he uses the almighty push, he blows her into the air, and then after then, she gets stabbed with that black rod of Pain, right? Pain just thrusts it deep inside of her, and he gently pulls it out after the fact. But when that happens, the level of terror that is on Naruto's face, the level of terror is absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful to see that. And if they're paying homage to it, they 100% nailed it. Like, hands down, they 100% nailed it. And that just shows you, once again, Naruto has understood for a very long time. If I have people around me who I have to worry about, I can't go all out, and I stand the risk of losing someone. Like, that's one of the things that happened with Naruto's character after Jiraiya died. Naruto, if you read the manga very closely, that's why I keep telling people, read the manga. If you read the manga very closely, Naruto became very protective after that of the people he cared for. He became very protective because Naruto, experience loss, and unlike Sasuke, who chose to forego all of his bonds and pursue vengeance, Naruto not only chose to forgive, but Naruto also took that feeling of losing someone he cared for and said, I'm never gonna go through this again. And that's why you had Naruto, all those shadow clones and everything. That's why Naruto was going back at Obito when Obito said this world's gonna end and Naruto rebutted it. Like, this is consistent with his character and I love it. I love it. But the fact that Delta went here, I have to restate once again. I keep telling you guys, Kishimoto said that no character in the Naruto franchise is safe. If they need to be killed off for tension's sake, if they need to be killed off for the development of Boruto, Kishimoto is okay with Kodachi writing it, and he's damn sure okay with Ikimoto drawing it. So I mean, this shows us, like, going forward, whoever your favorite character is, whoever they are, they can be killed off. Himawari got lucky. She got lucky because Kawaki just steps in. Kawaki steps in, and what I love about it, right, is the way the dust and everything is drawn. You have no idea. You have no idea who took the shot. You don't know if it's Naruto, and you're going, oh my God, is Naruto gonna be okay? Is Naruto now gonna be defeated by Delta? What the hell is happening? And then you think, well, it can't be Boruto. Oh snap, it's Kawaki. And sure enough, when that happens, when Delta is making that face, when Delta's making the face, the first thing that goes to my mind is she's looking like, oh snap, I screwed up. And I'm gonna tell you guys why I say this, okay? Because Kara has gone through such great lengths to bring Kawaki back to wherever their base is. Jigen definitely invested a lot of time and energy into Kawaki. They go so far as to call him the vessel. And we don't know the full reason why they say that. Maybe because he's the vessel for the Karma Seal. But what's interesting though, what's interesting about this is the way she's drawn. It was a mix of surprise, but it also looked like I just screwed up. That's the way I interpret it. You guys let me know, how did you interpret that scene? Because I do think that if that is the case, if Delta was looking like, oh man, I wasn't supposed to hurt Kawaki, it's gonna be interesting to see how Jigen handles that. I know Jigen has that ability to rewind time basically and restore things to their previous version. So we don't know if that's something that Jigen can probably do if he gets his hands on Kawaki. But what I love is like when the chapter ends off, right? When the chapter ends, you get this moment where Kawaki looks over and he says, yeah, about that vase, about that vase, I think we're even now. And it's almost as if Kodachi realized, like, I've been building up the whole stuff with this vase for a really long time, and we still haven't fixed this damn thing. We still haven't fixed it. And I feel like that's just his way of having fun by writing that dialogue and then having Ikimoto draw it. Because, dude, we're never gonna see that vase fixed. But what I thought was gonna happen, and I talked about it in my prediction video that I did with, will Himawari be kidnapped by Delta and Kashi and Koji? I said, well, we might get a scene where Himawari is kidnapped or something, and when they do the trade-off or something, Himawari gets the fixed vase. Didn't exactly happen that way. Didn't happen that way. But what we did get is we saw the closing of that plot point, and that was something that always bugged me, because while it's minor, you could tell the way that they kept putting emphasis on the vase, the vase, the vase. You know, at some point it was going to come back. And so to see it tied together like this, that's really beautiful. And what I love about it is just like how that vase was broken, Kawaki's broken when he tells we're even now. And I feel like that's symbolic for showing that Kawaki, as we were introduced to him, he's been broken down. And if he gets the opportunity to stay in the Hidden Leaf Village, he's going to be built back up. And if that's something Kodachi was going for when writing this scene out, then that's absolutely beautiful writing. If that's something he's going for, that's absolutely stunning. If that's accidental brilliance on his part, it's still absolutely stunning. And I like the way that Ikimoto draws that scene, and you see Naruto cradling Kawaki. Dude, they are going so hard with setting up a level of investment in Naruto and Kawaki's relationship. Because like when you see Kawaki and he has that moment where he freaks out and he has a PTSD, Naruto puts Kawaki's head up against Naruto's heart, right? And he basically says like, calm down, I got you. When Kawaki is asking to learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu so he can beat himself up, Naruto gets personal and says, hey, I used to do that myself. That's not gonna happen. And now you get this scene where Naruto's cradling him. He's cradling Kawaki like he would cradle his injured son. Dude, this is beautiful. And what makes it all the more beautiful is we're getting to that point where we're getting so much interaction with Naruto and Kawaki, right? That when Kawaki inevitably turns on Naruto, it's gonna break a lot of hearts. And this is what I talk about when I tell you guys, well, it's all about the payoff. Kodachi is writing something that is setting us up for a payoff that it might not come this year or next year or the year after, but whenever that moment comes, we're gonna get a huge payoff because we're gonna have so many itty bitty scenes like this that are gonna build up. And if Ikimoto draws in a bunch of flashbacks and we get those moments and we see maybe a collage or something, Kawaki, on one hand, he's gonna be a very hated character for betraying Naruto's trust like that. But on the other hand, Kawaki is gonna be a character that is gonna be very sympathetic. He's gonna be very sympathetic. And I feel like this is a good way to at least get to that point where some of the fandom, if they get pissed off if Naruto dies, they at least know where Kawaki's coming from. And if that's the case, I could see some of those people who are pissed off now continue reading because they see how much Naruto invested in Kawaki. So, I mean, this could be something that works. It really is gonna come down to execution, but I like what we see there. Now, I do wanna talk about some of the actual battle sequences, right? So I'm gonna say this. I will say that Ikimoto, in a few of those panels, not a lot, but in a few of those panels where he's drawing the action, the movement wasn't as fluid. I had really high hopes when the chapter opened up, where you see Naruto and Delta, knees locked, fists locked, they're exchanging blows, and it's just so crazy because when the chapter ended off, they're both enveloped in a chakra cloak, and now in this chapter, you start to see it where they don't have the chakra cloak and they're just fighting. So it lets us know that from the span of the last chapter to this chapter, there has been some time that's passed. And so that's really cool to see that. However, in a few of those instances, when you look at how some of the punches and everything were thrown, it would have been really beneficial to Ikimoto if he would have drawn in a few more panels where we actually see the punches connect, like the fist hit the face. We see the follow through where it's a little easier to follow. And I talked about that in my very first chapter review that I did on this channel, talking about Boruto and talking about how Ikimoto, the way he draws, like the animator that does the Boruto anime, or excuse me, the director who does the Boruto anime, talked about how adapting some of Ikimoto's scenes are going to be very difficult. And I felt like for a while, Ikimoto stepped it up. But in this chapter, early on, it left a little bit to be desired, but we do get a few panels part of the way through the fight. In particular, you get this really cool scene where after Delta hits Naruto, like Naruto does the backflip and he's back at it. And just seeing the constant back and forth is really refreshing, because one of my favorite things about Naruto is the way that they use taijutsu and they can incorporate different things. I think one thing that could have been really cool is if we would have seen Naruto just as a throwback, just whip out the substitution jutsu to see how Delta would react to it. And what I really love is as this battle's going on and as Boruto's just getting so antsy, which is kind of odd because in the last chapter, Boruto's saying there's no way for me to get involved, I'm completely out of my league, and now in this chapter he's getting completely antsy, right? But what was really interesting is Kawaki used the analogy to say, well, you have to realize the true power of the Hokage, even I can see it. The true power of the Hokage completely dwarfs Delta. And so for everyone who's commenting in all the other videos, like, there's no reason that Delta should be making Naruto have to use such an advanced form of power. Now in this chapter, he's using the lava style Rasengan. Naruto shouldn't have to do this. Well, here's the thing. He's definitely been testing her out. But even then, Naruto is suppressed because of the fact his family's nearby. They're fighting inside the village, so he can't completely cut loose. And yet Kawaki can look at it and say, yeah, even holding back, like the true power of the Hokage, he ought to win unless there's some unexpected interferences. And sure enough, we get it when Boruto gets involved. But what's really cool is as they're going through and they're clashing, Kawaki uses the analogy of saying it's like a ballroom dance. The Hokage never lost the lead in the battle. He's been leading her the whole time, steering her away from us. He's been leading her so she can wear it down so where he can actually end the fight with a huge jutsu. He's been building this whole fight to his own specific reasoning, and it's complete contrast. Like Boruto, for as smart as Boruto is, for as smart as he is, and the fact he's seen Naruto fight at full power before. Shame on Shino, because Shino should have taught. Shino should have taught, like, hey, the Hokage, this dude is insanely powerful. Like, Shino should have taught that, or Boruto, at the very least, shame on Boruto. Because Boruto should have known better after the Momoshiki fight. But when that happens, right, Naruto not only dodges Delta's attack, but he lands in a pretty good left hook. And I love that scene. I love that because Naruto decks her and Naruto's just like, hey, gender equality, baby. But when that happens, when Naruto decks her, if there's any doubt about the fact that he's holding back, that should be your moment right there. Because Naruto, on one hand, yes, Delta can absorb jutsu, but when you look at everything Naruto can do, Naruto has some ninjutsu, especially when it comes to the tailed beast, that he can use, especially when he uses shadow clones that can restrict her movements. In particular, if he were to use the magnet release Rasengan, he could completely seal her away. Because that's the whole thing you got from Shikaku, the one tails that is inside of Naruto. So I mean, that's something that you should keep your eye on, especially when they say at the end of the chapter that the battle's gonna move into its final climax. But when it comes to Delta, Delta immediately figures out, like, Naruto is trying to wear me down. This attack that I use that kills off cells, it drains a lot of chakra. And she's like, he's trying to get me to wear down my chakra. And that's Naruto's whole end game. I'm just gonna outlast her. And that's smart. That's smart. And until Boruto got involved, and which indirectly pulled Himawari involved, Naruto had a winning strategy. He was just gonna outlast her. And I mean, we gotta look at it from this perspective. When it comes to stamina, Naruto, let's just take out the whole thing with the Kyuubi, right? Naruto's an Uzumaki. The Uzumaki clan has such a strong life force. In particular, those like Kushina and Naruto who have that special chakra that's rare, even amongst the Uzumaki. They can survive having a biju extracted from their body for a prolonged period of time. Inevitably, they're going to die. That was stated multiple times. Naruto would have died if Sakura didn't cut this dude's chest open and literally hold his heart and pump chakra to his heart until Obito was able to seal the remaining biju inside of Naruto. Like, that was stated multiple times, and yet the fact that Naruto was able to hold out that long, it just shows you, like, stamina. This dude's stamina is broken. If you get into a stamina contest with Naruto, you're losing 10 times out of 10. Like, you're losing in the fashion of a 10-10. So I love the fact that Naruto had that strategy. And again, it would have worked if Boruto and Himawari don't get involved. But I love the fact that when Delta figures that out, she just starts losing her control. And she starts spamming that I-beam jutsu that she uses that kills the cells. And she even tries it at point blank range with Naruto. And the fact that Naruto's dodging at point blank, I mean, that's pretty damn impressive, man. That's pretty impressive. But I want to ask you guys this. How do you feel about the fact that Naruto was having to use Biju chakra? Do you think that it was more so because he's trying to test out durability? Do you think he's legitimately been pushed? How do you feel about the fact that Naruto still has the Biju chakra? Because I know a lot of you guys, especially on my Naruto chakra modes video and on the Boruto chapter 31 video, a lot of you guys were like, Naruto doesn't have the Biju chakra, he doesn't have the Sage of Six Pass power anymore. And so I want to know what you guys think about this now, because we get multiple shots in this chapter where you see Naruto with the toad slats and the fox slits, and you don't see any pigmentation around his eyes, and that clearly shows you which mode he's using. And now he's using ninjutsu that is associated with that form. I want to know what you guys think, man. And just as another reminder, again, the fact that he's in the chakra mode on top of that Sage of Six Pass mode is showing you, even though he's restrained, the fact he's stacking his chakra mode on top of that is showing, at the bare minimum, Delta's scientific ninja tool body is a huge threat. And I want to leave this as the chapter question, the main chapter question. Do you think that the other members of Kara have scientific ninja tool abilities that are going to be even more broken than Delta, and what do you think those abilities are going to be? But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end of the video. Have an awesome day, guys.